Hello, my name is Charli Sorenson, and I'm here on behalf of the Kittitas County League of Women Voters. Joining us today to talk about their 2026 levy request is Cindy Coe and Troy Tornow from the Ellensburg School District. This interview is being recorded and will be uploaded to the League's YouTube channel and shared with traditional and social media. So let's get started. Why does the school district need this levy?
So we're running a educational programs and operation levy, replacement levy. Our current levy is expiring after 4 years. The purpose of EPO levies are to provide additional local funding for items that the state does not provide for. Originally, those were supposed to be sort of extra programs, but the reality of modern life and education in the state of Washington is that EPO levies end up paying for a lot of things that are not necessarily extra, but enhance state funding.
Thank you. So what happens to the school district if this levy fails?
Well, if the one fails on February 10th, we would reorganize, we would talk about things, gather some community input, and run it again, most likely in April. If there's a double levy failure, because you can only run a levy twice within a calendar year, then starting in 2027, because these are taxes that would be collected starting in 2027, we would have to make some severe cuts to the program offerings that we have. And since staffing is 81% of our budget and a lot of our fixed costs, such as utilities, don't go away, we would probably have to look at some areas of staffing.
I guess I would just chime in and say, as long as I've lived in Ellensburg, which is a couple of decades now, our community has been really generous in supporting our schools and has always voted for these levies. And so we really appreciate that support, that local support that supplements the state level support. And we hope to see it happen this year as well.
Can you describe what the EP&O levy actually funds? Just a quick sort of.
Yeah, so it funds a lot of different things that the state funds us on what they call the prototypical model. So they look at how many students we have, and then they fund us by formula, a certain amount of teachers, classified staff, administrators, and then give us what's called MSOC, maintenance, supply, and operating cost money based on that. That does not cover all of our expenses. So this is money we spend it in categories, teaching and learning, we call it. We have our co-curricular and athletics budget comes almost entirely out of the levy because that's not funded by basic education. A very small piece goes to some technology. A very small piece goes to capital projects, and a little bit to safety as well. And then it funds primarily a few extra positions that the state doesn't fund that we need, because the prototypical model doesn't cover all of our needs.
Thank you. How much of the Ellensburg School District's revenue comes from levies?
About 17%.
And how often can the school district ask for a levy?
So in the state of Washington, EP&O levies you have a choice. You can run them every year, every 2 years, every 3 years, or 4 years. Most districts choose a 2-year schedule or a 4-year schedule. 2 years allows you to, if you need it, to every 2 years jump up your amount of funding if you decide you need it. 4 years gives you stability in that what you can reliably predict your budget out for 4 years and do some planning. And as Cindy pointed out, our community's been incredibly generous with us over the years, over a long, long period of time. And so we've chosen stability with a 4-year levy.
Thank you. Does this particular levy increase property taxes in the district?
We have designed it, so hopefully it does not. That one of the things about levies is that we put out and we'll advertise an estimated rate, and that's what most people pay attention to. But the reality is we're collecting a total amount. So the advertised tax rate is often not what is collected. We have designed it to not raise taxes. Last time 4 years ago in 2022, the levy was approved at an estimated rate of $2.50 per thousand of valuation. Our estimated right now is $2.42. But there's always that caveat of we don't know what assessments are going to show up and the growth in assessments are going to be in 2027 when this is passed. So that is an estimate. We've designed it to keep it the same. We hope this levy is maintaining our current level of programs.
Yeah, I would say that we're really intending this as a replacement levy, a continuation of the support that the community has already shown, and not an attempt to kind of raise taxes in that way.
Thank you. Doesn't the school receive adequate funds through the McCleary decision?
So this is the one where when you put a time limit on me, this is a whole nother hour-long decision. Here's the as shortest version I could say. The McCleary decision was a real positive thing for education years and years ago, a decade ago. The state's funding and their model has not kept up. McCleary is now outdated, and we are going back to, in the state, across the state, more reliance on local levies, which is what McCleary was supposed to eradicate. The level of inflationary factors that the state has put into McCleary has not kept up with actual inflation. And so that's the increase in the total amount of our levy is for those inflationary factors. So for example, we receive, so for maintenance, supply, and operating costs, which is a category within there, that's for our utilities costs, for instructional supplies for classrooms, instructional materials. We spent that level of inflation has not kept up. The state has not even come close to that in the McCleary decision. So, for example, in 2020, the last school year, 24-25, our total maintenance, supply, and operating costs were $4 million more than the state provided us for those categories. We've had a 21% increase over 3 years in utilities. We've had over $220,000 increase just in our liability insurance without any major issues on our end over the last 3 years. So those are fixed costs for us that the state's funding hasn't kept up with. So in that way, McCleary hasn't helped us. We are a little bit unique. People will talk about the McCleary decision and funding for staffing, since staffing is 81% of our budget. It's 79 to 83% of every school district. It's about 81 for us. It's by far the majority of our costs. When the state, during the McCleary decision, shifted from funding teachers on a scale based on experience to a flat fee for every teacher. So we receive a certain amount for each teacher, no matter what their experience is. We have one of the more experienced staffs in the district, so we have a larger gap between what we pay teachers and what the state pays us, just simply due to their experience. So levy pays for that and covers that.
Thank you. So if there are local residents, seniors, or disabled on fixed incomes, is there a way they can opt out of this property tax?
Yes, there is a statewide system, and they would need to contact the Kittitas County Assessor's Office. And the phone number for that's 509-962-7501, and they can walk them through what they need to do.
Thank you. Well, that wraps up our question period. Is there anything you'd like to say before I do my final remarks?
Cindy, is there anything you'd like to, since I've done most of the talking?
I would just like to reiterate that I think this community has recognized just how crucial schools are and supporting schools are to sustaining Ellensburg in terms of our local community. And we really appreciate that support, and we are asking for that continued support. Really, this levy represents a continued level of support for our schools beyond what the state has been able to provide.
Thank you. I would like to thank Cindy Coe of the Ellensburg School Board and Superintendent Troy Tornow for participating in this discussion of their upcoming levy request and the February 10th special election. The ballots will be mailed for this election on January 20th, and voting starts on the 23rd. The League hopes that you, the voter watching this, will vote in every election for which you receive a ballot. Links to additional information discussed in this video will be provided in the description below. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Charlie. Appreciate it.